Hey guys, this is my entry into the Synchronus video challenge by Propellerhead. I'm going to talk you through what I've done, and first of all let me show you a little loop I've put together. Alright, there you go. I'm just going to talk you through how I made this. Alright, off we go. Start off with the drums. Right, so here we go. We've got a simple 4/4 beat. That's just some Kong samples I put together. Kick, clap, hi-hat. Just ran through a bit of distortion. Right, so the way I did with the Synchronus was I got curve 1, and set that to the gate in of the kick drum. As you can see, that hit triggers on every beat. So if I just solo the kick drum, as you can see, each time a yellow marker reaches here, it triggers the kick drum. Right, so the clap is triggered exactly the same way, just off the beat. And the hi-hats also, they're also off the beat, but they're going at double the speed. So as you can, if I solo the hi-hat, you can see the hi-hat marker, the blue marker, going along double the speed as both the other ones. Right, so that is the drums, the simple 4/4 beat. Also got some cymbals going on, which are a bit more complicated. As you can see, the panning on drum 2 here is getting modified because if I open up this one, see this blue curve here? That is affecting this reverse crash I've got. The curve goes into rotary 1, it's this blue marker here, and rotary 1 triggers the panning of this crash. So if I solo it, every time it reaches this, it pans, creating a weird kind of stereo effect. Same as before, the crashes are triggered using these triggers here by just, as before, just putting them into the gate ins on the Kong. And I've done varying signal strengths to do varying levels, so it's hitting hard on every beat and hitting softer on every off beat. Like that. Right, I also have the Synchronus here, just modifying the pitch of the main crash. As you can, it's quite a basic effect. It's going to pitch, but it's quite effective and just gives it some extra movement. Right, the next thing worth mentioning is this sweep I've got going. So if we go into here, you can see I've got nothing written in the sweep, but that's because as you can see, I've got a simple noise generator. I've got this blue marker, which is actually triggering the sweep itself. So I've taken the curve to the gate in on the combinator, and that means that every time this is at full, it triggers the 4 to generate a noise signal. I've got this, which is filtering it up and down, as you can listen. Which I just used the filter here with that all the way up so that it modifies it, and by default it's closed. If I've got it at the bottom it's closed, and at the top it's open. I've got it also side chaining. This was quite easy. I just brought the level quite down to -4.3 and modified it slightly, so when it's up it's at full volume, when it's down it's at the lowest volume. So it should trigger. And every time the pink marker reaches it, it ducks the volume and then back up again. I'm also using the reverb on it to give it a bit more space because it sounds a bit boring on its own. It just adds a little tail on the end, which just makes it a little bit more interesting. Alright, okay. So the next thing worth mentioning is the lead synth, which is quite simple, which is this. Right, okay, so as you can see, or as you heard, it was actually obviously more than one note. But what I've done, which I thought was quite cool, I've set the notes at the lowest note in the melody, which in this melody is A sharp, and then I use the synchronous to modify the pitch of the melody. So, if I show you what that looks like, I've taken curve 1 and hooked it up to the CV input on the 4. Now if you look at the 4, I've got it so that the CV input 1 and CV input 2 modify the pitch of the two oscillators. So if you listen to the melody and watch the yellow lines, you'll see how they play with the pitch. There you go, that's quite cool, I thought. Also worth mentioning, I've got the blue parameter here, because the audio is going through the synchronous, modifying a filter with a high pass. So at the bottom it's not doing anything, and when it goes to the top it high pass filters. So you can hear that when the blue marker gets here. Like that. I also control vibrato using Synchronus, so CV2 goes to the mod wheel on 4, and the mod wheel is hooked up to the vibrato here of both oscillators. So when you bring the mod wheel up, the vibrato increases. So as you can see here, this tiny little pink bump, if I didn't do everything else, this tiny little pink bump is where the vibrato comes in, so take a listen. Which I just thought made it sound a lot more interesting. I'm not going to go into any of the synth patches, but if anyone would like to know, it's cool, I can. I've done exactly the same thing with the pluck, by triggering the lowest note in the sequencer and just writing out the rhythm, and then playing it like this. This one's a bit more complicated, as you can see, but it's exactly the same principle. I've just used this yellow parameter to modify the pitch, CV input 1, and then oscillator 1 and 2 pitch. I'm also got a high pass filter on it so that it doesn't muddy up the low end of the track where all the kicks and basses will be located. I've got a delay on it, which the feedback is modified using this purple parameter. The audio is going in. So as it gets to the top of the purple parameter, the delay lasts longer, and when it gets to the bottom, it's on a very short value. So take a listen. And if I leave it here, you can see that the filter's all the way up, and that means the feedback will be all the way up, and the delay lasts forever. I've got it running through reverb as well, just to give it some more space on the synchronous, and a little bit of distortion, which I modify here by bringing the amount from 0 up to about halfway, just to create a little bit more interest. There you go, just creating some extra tones and frequencies. Do I have a yes, I do. Right. So, in this patch, this is my my pad. So for this, I've just got one synchronous. It's going through a synchronous. Oh, no, wait, let's start with this one. Sorry. So it's going from the audio sample through a couple of effects, and then we reach the first synchronous here, where, as you can see, I bring I automate the reverb here by bringing the amount up a little bit. So if I get rid of this, you can hear as it reaches this bit, you get a tiny little reverb tail, creating a lot more interest yet again. Then I thread it into this one, which is just a built-in reason patch, which is just good for sidechaining. have made it again like I did with the white noise, but I decided to use just one of the reason patches because I was a little bit lazy with this one. Right, so there's just a little bit further to go. I've got some arpeggios which are interesting, which sound like this. On these ones I haven't modified the pitch using the Synchronus, so I've just written the notes in because it was a lot easier. And I have an arpeggio on it, as you can see here, which is just triggering notes for me. What the Synchronus is doing is the Synchronus is filtering it. So this is the filter, because the audio is going from the arpeggios into the Synchronus. You can see that the filter pattern opens and closes with how I've written, as you can see here, on the full value. So take a listen. It works like that. I've got it threading through a reverb unit to give it a bit more space, and I've also got a delay of which I modify the amount, which allows me to add a bit more room but not completely muddy it up. Because if I had it on the delay on all the time, it would sound like this. And it's a bit boring having a delay trigger each time, and it can also, like, if it wasn't for the filtering, it would sound really kind of messy. So I only bring it in every now and then. To just create some more rhythm interest. I've also got sidechaining on, so I'm just modifying the level. Again, like I did with the noise sweep, so it just pumps up and down. Last but not least, I've got the bass line, which is really quite simple. I'm triggering the lowest note of the thing with the lowest note of the melody with the rhythm written in again. It's a little out of tune, sadly, but I was trying to perfect it, and I sort of began to like the out of tune sound. But yeah, again, I'm using the CV output 1, which is this yellow value, to modify the pitch on this for CV input 1, oscillator 1 pitch, CV input 1, oscillator 2 pitch. So if you watch the pattern and listen to the melody, you can hear it. Like that. I've got a little bit of reverb on it to create a little bit more interest, and like before, I've got sidechaining on it here by modifying the level and bringing it up and down. Alright guys, that's how I made my 4-bar loop. Using only Synchronus to trigger them. We're using Synchronus as effectively as I can. Alright, cheers. Good luck to everyone that's taken part in the competition, and hope everyone does well. Alright, see you later.